Okay, so greetings from New Jersey. This is the day after, so you can imagine I haven't been able to prepare the class, but I will not give so it has to be spontaneous today. There's no way that, I also had a class at 6 o'clock because Nrsimha Swami has moved to Mayapur. So our class is always 3:30 his time, so it was 6 o'clock in the morning. You can imagine I haven't gotten up yet and did nearly the level of sadhana that I've done. So I think I'll do two things today. I will speak my class again, but just kind of analyze it maybe. Approach it from a different way. It may be interesting. And I see that most of you have either, practically all, maybe one or two haven't, have either been there for the class, etc. So maybe I just analyze my class, and I've had some time. I'll try to share some discussion I had with Nrsimha Swami. Maybe I'll start with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So greeting from New Jersey, and tomorrow I head out to India. So just what comes from my heart. So my first realization is, I was going to, anyway, see where it goes, is that idea I had about the Academy Awards. It's just I was trying to figure out what I would lecture on. I thought that could be interesting. And the Academy Awards, of course, it's not a direct analogy, but I was going to make categories of my different things, which are my opinions, my ideas, like for example, the nominees for my best original analogies are, I haven't thought of it deeply, but one of the upaman, comparison. Sometimes you can't explain something except by comparison. I don't know, I'd have to think. It could be a Monday morning greeting, just right about comparison. But one thing it's very difficult to explain. And this is like, it's coming to me again and again. And in fact, if I had in the category of personal realizations, now I'm going to something else. I'll go for the analogies. In the category of personal realizations, the nominees are, and I think I would have to list them. I haven't thought about this. It was just kind of a semi-humorous and it was semi-serious. But one of the realizations that I had this um, year is when I was studying the CC, and this Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have a group on Tuesday, and when I was studying that, in the 20th chapter, the 14th, so many chapters, it begins with, this is impossible to understand. I remember the CC, it came there. This was impossible, this is impossible to understand. I mentioned this many times, even for a person who's advanced in knowledge and well-behaved. And it is, because what are you trying to explain in Chaitanya Charitamrita? The highest level of realization, parama dasha antam, and what is the highest level of realization? This prema, this love of Godhead of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is of Srimati Radharani, and what is that highest level of realization? It's something that looks depressed and something that looks erotic. Lord Chaitanya's suffering and separation, the sentiments of longing, and our only frame of reference for them is the modes of material nature. But it always mentions it comes from prema. And then if that's bad enough, this torturous feeling of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if that's bad enough, then it's going to try to convince you it's the highest ecstasy. So where do you have experience that the most torturous thing is the highest ecstasy, except a sadomasochist or something? So all these points are going around, and then it comes to this verse, but one who hears with faith, he can understand these bhavas and get prema. So how do you explain this? So in the category anyway, okay, this is it's interesting because it's connected to what I said. So in terms of realization, I saw that by studying and hearing these things with faith, you get not just, it's not an intellectual understanding, it's an experiential understanding that this is reality. And that experiential understanding that this is reality creates this faith in it as true. Even if you can't intellectually understand it, it creates this faith in it that it's true, because you're able to relish it and it's able to speak to you. Because Shastra is not just ink and paper, it's God. So that probably was one of my strongest realizations, along with that this is our process of purifying our heart. We have to hear. And I'm doing more hearing than ever before. Even today, Vyasa Puja, 6 o'clock class, now class. And one of the classes I put off till tomorrow, which I'll have two classes tomorrow before I leave, that this process, and it was also connected with the beginning of the 10th canto, where Marge Prickett wants to hear more about Krishna and why, that this is the panacea for everything. So that was like that was probably my strongest realization, how important it is to hear and hear a lot. Okay, now connected in the categories of best analogies. Well, one of them was how to explain this suffering and ecstasy in the same thing. So I thought of an analogy And that is when there's a drama. And classic theory, it's to take an emotion that's overwhelming, recreate it so you feel it. But what's one of the emotions? Karuna, a tragedy. It also means mercy, but tragedy. So you're supposed to feel the tragedy. But why are you going to the drama? To feel the tragedy, to enjoy it. So at least it's an example. This original, so in the category of original analogies, this was an analogy that at least gives us some, and maybe even some insight that that's what's happening. That you're feeling these emotions, Radharani, Lord Chaitanya, you're feeling these emotions, but they're somehow enjoying them. There's some kind of disconnection. The way you enjoy those emotions in drama is somehow you're feeling the tragedy, but it's not connected to your false ego. So certainly those are not connected to the false ego. They're connected to the soul and prema. So that's the second analogy I like. If I can explain it in the category of analogies, and the winner is that our mind is like a jigsaw puzzle. And it's black, but there's pieces you have to fill in. And those pieces are realizations of translucent glass. And that our karma is giving us the experience to fit in the translucent glass. As you go through the world and go through your experiences and you get the realizations, your consciousness becomes clear. And then I had another realization, because about this, same thing with this Mathura Brahmin who was ignorant, and he had, when he went to Gop Kumar told him that you almost know everything. So I had this image that sometimes there's one piece that's missing, but it's right and directly in front of your eyes. And everything else is clear by your karma. And you just need that one realization, a big one. And that completes the puzzle to see. So I would say that sometimes with people, we may see a person going through so much trouble, and we may judge them, but they may have a lot more of the pieces together than us. It's just that experience now is what they need. And I see this with a friend of mine. This is many, many years ago. I thought he was very advanced, but he went through some real mental loss of confidence, depression. I couldn't figure it out spiritually for him, because he did everything right. He never offended people. He was a great devotee, but he had this depression. But then after that, the depth of his realizations, the vision was so, so profound. So that was also in the category of analogy. I'm going to actually do this, but in the category of pleased, as category to disappointment. Now getting back to the Vyas Puja, really one of the things that struck out me today is how the community here is developing, both within its core and how people from the outside come, and that's the realization I have from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita to at the beginning, when they're before the Madhava deity after the Kumbh Mela, and all the Vaishnavas are, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. No, you're the topmost recipient. No, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And that point in the commentary, when the Vaishnavas are friendly like this, the community prospers. So that was, and because of Vyas Puja, I have to give them the award. And even, not even, but Satyaraj's wife, a very cultured lady, and when she left, she said, "This is unprecedented. The quality of your Vyas Puja and the people and the community and the camaraderie. The camaraderie." So that was a kind of a big award without offending anybody else. Like, what if I picked the winner for the best prasadam? Well, all prasadam is good, but the Supreme Personality of rice, that you have to experience yourself. Okay, Jai Subhadra, you're sweet rice. That's for sure. Do we have any?
We sure do.
We have, okay. But I'm too old now to drink a lot of sweet rice. When you get my age, you can't eat. I was surprised at the Vyasa Puja. First of all, I was so happy that Pradyumna came. Because if you understand Pradyumna, a very interesting person, but especially devotional things, he's lived with all the great sadhus in India. If it's not, he'll be disturbed. And the fact that he comes, because he never come, that he came, and he gave me a gift. He gave me the latest work he's doing, which was what he does is he takes all the Shastras, as far as I understand, because it's not easy sometimes to understand him, and he collects all the commentaries in one place, which has practically never been done for some of these books. Prabhupada, when he did the Bhagavatam, he had 11 commentary. So he has all the commentaries, but even those, no one has transliterated them. So they can't be used in the modern world with computers, which works on So he gave me, he said, "This is a gift for you on your Vyasa Puja. This is a gift for you." And he gave me all the commentaries on the 3rd chapter of the 10th canto. And I thought, "Oh, this is great." It was all in Sanskrit and I couldn't read a thing, but I appreciate it. And he told me, "Maharaj, everything first class. For him to actually, he's not a very social person. He can't be. For him to be there and so happy." And he looked at the feast. He said, "This is the way a feast should be." He said, "A feast." Because he grew up with Prabhupada. This is a feast. And that's one thing, I get disappointed because when I see other places, they don't know that standard of what prasadam has, how it should be served, and how Prabhupada brought that to the West. And it was such an important part of his thing. And to this day, Pattarajni, who was married to Lakshmi Nrsimha, she passed away. She knew how to make the original samosas. It was crushed peas and cauliflower with spices, and it was black. And okay, I'm in a mood, I'll have to say this. And it was the dough that was like the dough of Ruby the Kanishman, which was one of the most famous. If you look him up on the internet, he's one of the most famous personalities, those Kanishas. It had a kind of not this hard, crusty dough, but a very soft dough. But the preparations, everything, first class. Everything was first class. Wow, what Kaveri did with those designs. I can go on and on. The Mary Poppins theme with the umbrellas just everything was so first class. Jamuna Jaya as Doris Winnaker in the drama, that was pretty awesome. um, okay, you can see people like my spontaneous classes because okay, let me go to Niranjan and then I'll get back to the Vyas Pujan and see if I can do my class again. So discussing with Niranjan Swami, and he had this connection between the first and the second, and he was super into it. And I'm not sure I can exactly repeat it. But if you look at the first chapter, the primary qualities of the people was dainya, or humility. And with humility is a lack of envy, because you're able to appreciate someone better than you. So every personality had that. As Narada Muni was looking for Bhagavad Kripa Sar, Bhagavad Kripa Sar, he was looking for the essence of the Lord's mercy. This is an interesting point. The essence of the Lord's mercy. So I can't. So then the second half is Gop Kumar, and also his kind of humility. He doesn't think he's the best. He's looking for the best. Every position he gets, he'd rather have the humble position. But we haven't studied the whole thing yet. But he was explaining that by Sanatana Goswami's genius, the character of Narada Muni appears again in terms of Gop Kishore and reveals to him that there's two types of humility. One that you can engender yourself and one that's given by the mercy of God. And then somehow discussed that type of mercy given by God, we have to work on this theme. He understands it better than me, is prema. And this is the brilliant part. And then Narada tells Gop Kishore, and this type of mercy, Srimati Radharani will appear and give that type of mercy. So the revelation that we got, or what he got from this, and he's still working on it, the revelation he got from this is that it's something in the first verse. But anyway, that Sanatana Goswami's objective was to give this prema to the world that Lord Chaitanya wanted, to explain it and inspire us. And he works up this whole narrative. At the beginning, you remember, it says in the Parayaham, they quote in the verse, Krishna says, I don't understand this. This is too high for me. And then Sanatana Goswami has to pray and comes up with this story. But how does that story culminate? With this. And that he said that Lord Chaitanya is only mentioned once in the very first verse, because he's telling an ancient history before Lord Chaitanya appeared. And then Narada comes and tells Gop Kumar that Radharani will appear. So just see how Sanatana Goswami presents these teachings and gives that conclusion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But saying in the future, because it's ancient teachings, in the future, Chaitanya. So then that revelation came. How much this book inspires you. That this is a special mercy, the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anarpita charim charat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpiyatam udatojvalas. So are not given for very, very long time. As Narottam Das Thakur says, you dive into the Sankirtan pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and you wind up at the shore of Radha and Krishna. So he's still working on it. I'm encouraging him to write it. But it's very, very brilliant how you take the figure Narada Muni's in the first book, and then he comes at the end, and it all leads to to Radha Krishna. But by telling you, it's really you can't, that kind of mercy, which is prema bhakti, which is dainya. It's all dainya. Dainya means utter humility, but that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually, when I came onto the class today, we usually begin to read, and then we discuss back and forth, and it's a very good combination of how our different minds work. So it's very compatible. And then I was traveling in Russia, and a very kind person, Jagadish, came from Mayapur to Moscow. He's a very close friend, to translate for me, because you can't preach in those countries, and he's the excellent translator. And also he becomes like a Siksha guru for my Russian disciples. So it was perfect. So he was there. So if I asked him, he can join. So he's actually with us also. And the thing about him, he studied Shastra for 9 years in Mayapur, which is a success story, because when I met him, he was like an air conditioning mechanic in Israel. Never expected him to. It's a success story. But he really studied the Shastras, so sometimes a reference. So you get down and you start peeling away layers, and you kind of see how this story is put together to give that type of conclusion, and bringing Narada Muni from the first book in, and then culminating in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the future. So that was also really interesting. Now, so now, rather than give it, I'll talk about my speech. So I was thinking kind of very deeply about it. It's something where you have all the people you know there, and it's a great opportunity to give something. Niranjan Swami said, how long was the lecture? I think I was only 30 or 40 minutes, and I had an hour. And I told him, yes, because I had enough time to prepare, therefore it wasn't so long. And it's a fact, because I was thinking about it. And what I do is on Friday, I have a group of 3 people that are very close to me from New Zealand. Kurunika, she always makes a Vyas Puja offering. Her son, Advaita Simha, and one other lady there who would always listen to my classes until she moved to New Zealand, because the time difference doesn't really work for my classes so well that I'm giving here. So what happens is, whenever I'm making a presentation, like a specific presentation, I give it to them first. So that's what happened. And when I gave it to them, I had the realizations of, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. Because I saw that if I got too deeply into Guru Tattva, it would take too long an explanation to make everything. And so I decided that I would just focus on the concept of siksha based on Yogamaya Shakti, based on Yogamaya Shakti's initiation. So I would just focus on that and playing that, because otherwise, as I was giving it, I was saying, okay, and this point is not clear, Guru Tattva, and this point, and the Diksha Guru, and what's exactly the speciality of the Diksha Guru? And can you be connected without the Diksha Guru? And if you do, why do you have the Diksha Guru? And I have to say that it was so nice that Champak Mala, in her meaning of Vyasa Puja, she actually dealt with that point. So that if synchronicity is good, it comes off. So I decided I would focus on that because when you make a composition, you can't have like, how do you do it? It has to be a composition. Everything has to fit. And if it goes too long in one side and you don't have the conclusion, you have a certain amount. So I figured that, and then I thought, like, I started, okay, the first thing I started to do, I said, I have to I'll write my Monday morning greetings because I have to prepare that, and I'll write it on that concept of a person being worshipped in relationship to bhakti, because Bhakti Siddhanta, there's an essay called Humble Than a Blade of Grass, and he's sitting there, and you can imagine his Vyasa Puja. There's all respectable people there, and he's saying, I'm sitting here like a big ass on this seat, what are these people thinking, etc. And also, to really clarify, it's Vyasa Puja. It's worshiping Vyas and the principle of Vyas. And what's the principle of Vyas? The principle of Vyas is communication of truth. That's Vyas. He had the Vedas, how to communicate it, which Prabhupada said is the essence of realization, because unless you see truth, if you don't see truth, then you can't change it to conform that truth to the level of frame of reference of your audience. So it's a deeper understanding. So you're glorifying the communication of truth. And then you have the example of Prabhupada, who had to shift it to the Western world. And I didn't give the example I wanted. If I'll give it now, is Guru, because I gave, when I was talking about Guru Tattva, how once you have a firm commitment, and that Donna Cayley, who wrote that essay, the wife of my godbrother Pritashravan, that you have the energetic source, it's Krishna, and Krishna means also Chit Shakti, Sandini Shakti, Landini Shakti, his internal potency, his knowledge, his feeling for it. And how do you communicate to people that truth? Well, it comes in this succession of people who realize the truth and communicate it. And then I wanted to explain, the Guru Parampara and Prabhupada's position, and that having a guru doesn't obscure Prabhupada. It actually makes it clearer in one sense if the person's qualified. And this is also analogy. It's in the category of original analogies. Is how does something between something make it clearer? Well, there's the screen. There's my eyes. And there's my glasses. Now I can actually see what's on the screen. So that's the category now. But I wanted to make that point clear that, yes, we revere the person who represents this, but it's a transparency to the lineage. No Vaishnava will accept this on behalf of himself. He accepts on behalf of the lineage and directs people towards that. So therefore, I thought really I have to make that point clear. Otherwise, I won't feel comfortable sitting up there. Especially there's people there that maybe there were several people there that have never been to any function like this. I wasn't speaking mainly for them, but anybody. It's just the clear point. So I spent the week writing that essay, writing that Monday morning greetings. explaining that point. Because I think that sets the right tone for what it is. And wasn't it beautiful that Kaveri put that big picture of Prabhupada? And I feel bad I didn't have it in the previous Vyasa Pujas. But if you want to know, I think why it was so auspicious this year, I think because Prabhupada's position there and the size of the picture is what I wanted. And where it was, kind of above me, that set the right tone. Wow, I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, you can read the essay in Monday Morning Greetings. I really like how it came out. So that Guru Tattva point, and I think it's always nice to discuss Guru Tattva. But I like the idea and establishing that idea. It also goes with the theme of 75. There has to be a damn legacy. Things have to continue. So it's nice, Kastuba's almost 60. So what? I was it's like he's 20 years older than when I was taking disciples practically. At least 15, 20 years older. So that concept, and so explaining, and it was a nice example. When you write things, you try to have a theme and have everything connected. That's what makes points dynamic. If anybody is a speaker, it's not what you say, it's how it fits into a theme that makes that's what dynamic writing is. It's focus. It's focus. So you may say something when it sits isolated and you another interesting point. That really, I've learned that in writing. I think Kalachandri says, you got to get rid of your darlings. He's an editor. I really took that to heart because I have so many damn brilliant points. And I just have to, and I learned, get rid of it. That's the secret to writing. It doesn't fit in. It's brilliant. It doesn't fit into the scope of my page and a half thing. It's like really nice, but I've already made that point. It makes that point too long. But it's so interesting and it's so entertaining and I'm so brilliant. Boom. You get rid of it. I got a little bit off track, but we'll keep on going. You have to murder your darlings. That's Kalachandji said. You have to murder your darlings. This is editing. Anyway, so I'll get back. I thought what I was doing there, but yeah. So I thought, yeah, right. Okay. So the theme, right? Everything has to fit into the theme. So that's what I liked about the aspect. But there was initiation going. What is Vyasa Puja? Now it's the secession is going, but this point of Guru Tattva is explained. And I really love that analogy. What she tried to do, it's an article called Parallel Circuits. It's very complex when she gets into the electrical engineering stuff. It was a little bit lost on me. But what it tries to do is give some template to explain how it works. And it really works for the Siksha and Diksha Guru. Because, the conduit, it's coming in many, many ways to one. Let's say from Prabhupada, then there's different conduits. So if one of the conduits it doesn't mean the flow of electricity is finished. And especially as one's plugged in by his commitment. That's what initiation, the first thing is tapa. There's pancha samskara. What is tapa? Tapa is the basis of it. I regret living my life according to my mind and opinions. Now I accept. This was said, I'm going to do this. This Jamunajaya, I'm on he's a saint in Vrindavan. I'm on his I'm on his WhatsApp group. I'm not on any other WhatsApp group. I can't keep up with him. He has so many realizations. To take initiation means to place the spiritual master's instructions above the dictation of one's own mind. So once you accept that principle and commit to that principle, then you're plugged in. And that connection is not just dependent on the person who put the plug in. The plug remains in, the energy is there. Analogies, of course, are limited to the amount of things you can compare. But that was nice. And the fact that Yogamaya Shakti exemplified that when she came to me with the dilemma, which may have not been there so much 20 years ago in that sense, but a real dilemma that she was being taught and instructed by Kastuba. She was inspired by all my classes and by my community. She felt the delegation of God's authority be coming through both of us equally, and the love and affection in terms of our instructions, because from senior people, their affection comes from their teachings. She felt it equally. So what is the contradiction? She's plugged in she's made the commitment, she's fortifying the commitment. It's not that she wasn't plugged in, but she's tightening the connection, let's say. And what's the thing? It comes in different ways. And in terms of myself and Kastuba, there can be absolutely no difference. We know each other, we have the same conceptions, the same views, how Krishna consciousness works. It's even the same language, because different conduits can have different language. It can come, it can be in Hindi, it can be in this. It's the same language, the same conceptions, firmly rooted, branching out. No one can put me as a conservative or a liberal. It's beyond that. So that was a beautiful way to present that. And yeah. And then the main theme, 75. It's absolutely surreal. I can't hide it. I told my famous insult joke. Actually, it wasn't. The only thing it was a godbrother who gave me the insult. He wasn't from New York, but he was good at insulting people, so we had the same culture. My desire to be insulted brought me to Krishna consciousness. I can tell you why. Because when I went to San Francisco, and me and Jayanta and my other friends had to choose a restaurant to eat, we picked a famous restaurant where the Chinese waiter mercilessly insults the patrons. We wanted to feel that love, even in La La Land. So he was insulting us. And it was outside of that restaurant, which was the Harinam. But I mentioned, my optimism. But it's got to be tempered, because there's a reality coming up with age. Even, Satyaraja's wife came to me. I didn't know. She looks wonderful. She's 71. And she came to me and said, that happened to me at 70. I said, yeah, you were a bit more advanced than me. She said, yeah, it struck me. But the idea of the whole Bhagavatam freeing us from fear by this process of chanting, hearing about Krishna. And I explained, I had that, wow, cramp. I had that realization in a crisis where I took shelter of the holy name, chanting all day long, and realized, and I'm going to repeat it again, the activity I am doing, serving Krishna, chanting and hearing, and the person who's doing it, or the identification in which I'm doing it as the servant of Krishna, doesn't end with the body. The fear is losing ourselves, but we don't because we're eternal. But the extent that we're in material activities, the activities we're doing, and the person or the identity of the person who's doing it is going to be finished. So that was my realization as I get older, and I have my plans. I even have plans, actually, because it was too much in the whole class. My plan is also to change how I do devotional service in ways, because I have this creative, resourceful type of things that takes initiative. And, Metro Mantra Sanga, the first retreats in America were done by me. Radhanath Swami, Gauravani, Janava were coming to my retreats. It was the first time people did retreats. I took the first groups of Western people and had tours to India. I don't think anybody did that before me. I had the first Shastri school in America, teaching Shastra. I had the academic conference I was holding with the Sherborne gathering, these people. So a lot of, and even in Colombia, but I thought now that part of me, I kind of feel should change. But everybody's an individual, and the way it will change is this: teaching, Shastra, chanting, and but in the mood of bhakti. And Pradyumna, bless his soul, the definition he walked into my room and gave me for bhakti. This is David, how brilliant is bhakti means to make yourself available to others. So it's not that I will. It's not that I will do less. It's completely up to Krishna if he wants to. If he moves me in that direction. But the consciousness is going to be completely different because I'm going to take it from that side of me, dovetailed in Krishna, whatever Krishna wants. So, but that realization, yeah. So it was a great day, and Yadunath came and told me. He said, "I don't know your functions. Everybody, it's so euphoric. It's so euphoric." It was really nice too. I was really happy to see Samantha there. If you know her wonderful story, with her very nice husband who wasn't a devotee, but is a really great guy. And I remember Sri Rupa hadn't seen her in 30 years. And she was very close with Satyaraj's wife, Brinda. But here was a lady who, I would tell you a story, I kind of think I met her in 26 Second Avenue. She was coming around. She must have been about 20. She's almost 50 now, so it's about 30 years. And can imagine she had congenital heart failure. She had a pacemaker at the age of 18 and then was determined to have a child. And they said it would kill her, and it almost did. I think she had 40 operations during flying to hospitals. And just at the time I met her, her father had come into 26 Second Avenue. Such a kind man. You can imagine how much he loved his daughter. And then I became her guru. I remember we installed Gauranitai deities and things. And then her father slipped and fell down the stairs of the subway and died. And then at the Bhakti immersion, she showed up and she got a heart transplant. And, you think you have it difficult, live like that. But to see her there and so energetic from that heart transplant. So there was so many really wonderful, positive things. Okay. Um, I have to pack and figure out, how we're going to leave. And then tomorrow is great. I'm going to meet Yudhishthir again. And Brahma Tirtha, what a wonderful, I was so surprised. What a wonderful offering. Brahma Tirtha, thank you so much.
My privilege. I wish I could have been there in person, Maharaj, but uh, my faith is a little different today.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you able to see some of the video?
Oh, I saw your talk, which I really liked, and all the offerings.
Oh, that's
Everything
good.
was on Zoom. I was there for the whole thing. And then I had to give my talk at New Vrindavan by Zoom. And so when I was done with yours, then I wrote my talk to New Vrindavan, 15 lessons for men from perfect questions, and it turned out okay.
Wow, that's interesting. How you
Yeah,
feeling today?
uh, uh, no, I feel just very congested, but
Okay.
nothing unusual. I mean, I'm out for a walk right now, so no complaints.
We were going to meet you yesterday, but
And we're going to meet tomorrow, but I can't fly now. I'm too stuffed.
yeah, we're going to
And
meet. That's right. We're going to meet tomorrow.
tomorrow, yeah, yeah, I
But
have,
Yudhishthir, it's great anyway. He Sri
yeah,
Rupa helped him. They shifted his place to Ashbury Park, which is the place you gave him was because you were there.
exactly. No, we were going
Without,
to drive together. That was by my brother.
right. But anyway, they'll be there, and then Lal Govinda and Brajasundari Radhe, they're near there. They're going to pick him up, and
Great.
and Sri Rupa will take him today. They'll go to one of the temples in New Jersey. But he really loved it, and you would have loved the drama.
Oh, I didn't see the drama. I just heard the talks.
I could see Yudhishthir was laughing hysterically because it was
Yeah.
some kind of parody on Fiddler of the Roof, and
Oh.
it was this parody between me as a sannyasi singing about the glories of sannyas and my mother singing about what she felt about it.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
You would have laughed hysterically, and I don't know. And the Jamuna Jaya played my mother, and she said, "Mommy, mommy," and what did he say? What did he was singing something.
He says, sannyasi, sannyasi, and then the guru, the guru.
Okay, Jamuna Jaya, get on here and do your part now from the drama. Come on, from Brahma Tirtha. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're like Jesus Christ. They think you're pretty hot. You may know all the scriptures, but one thing you forgot. You're Jewish. You're Jewish. Understand? You're Jewish. You're Jewish. Understand?
Okay, Brahma Tirtha.
Very good. I
That's
love
only
it.
one line.
I love it. If it's
Oh,
recorded, they can send it to me.
yeah, somehow we didn't video, I think.
Oh,
Yeah. Um,
okay.
okay, we got a Mazel Tov from Shruti. And, Sri Radhika and Shruti were there too. Yeah. Okay. Jamuna Jaya,
That's right. What a great class. What a
you're going
great
to
day
do that for me
yesterday.
many, many times, by the way.
Okay.
Can you do it one more time? I loved it so much. One more time, do it. Okay.
So you're like Jesus Christ. They think you're pretty hot. You may know all the scriptures, but one thing you forgot. You're Jewish. You're Jewish. Understand? You're Jewish. You're Jewish. Understand?
And what was the other thing where you said Denny, you spoke to him?
Oh yeah. So yeah. So Yana being you was talking about my mission, and then I said, "Oy vey, Denny," and then it's who do you think carried you inside her womb? Who cleaned your room? Do you assume? Whose heart broke when you did not become a groom? Who did you leave to read your holy books? Your mama, your mama, your mama. That's the first part.
Okay. All right.
So
That
now it's recorded.
that was great. That
That's Yadunat's genius. He wrote
and it was
it, and
short, and it was,
yeah, he's genius at it.
and starring Jamuna Jaya as Doris Whittaker. But I didn't know you were such a good actress too. I knew that you were a dancer, entertainer, but that was
Uh,
great.
Thank you, Mirage. We just
Okay.
helped with the Denny thing where when we did it in rehearsal, I'm like, is that going to be disrespectful? But we both laughed. We said,
You know what I had one complaint about the drama.
uh,
It wasn't offensive enough.
I'll tell you I'm not. I'll try harder next time.
Okay, okay,
Thank you, Mirage.
okay. You can say I'm completely out of my zone today. Because we got to bed late, and to get to bed after all of that, even though I was up at 12:30 in the morning, I slept in the car a little bit. Couldn't get to bed till later, and then, waking up early because I have my first class at 6. So I have to chant at least before that. So right now I'm kind of in an intoxicated mood, and like a lot of good jokes may come out. But in the category of humor, the winner is Kali Kartal. And Gail still doesn't understand it. Gail was the only person in the whole place, and it was for her, and she didn't understand it. Okay, Gail, any questions?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Yes, I do have questions, but I got a private tutor in the form of Sri Rupa who
Okay,
helped me understand.
okay. I have to say one thing else because I'm completely out of my mind now. Okay,
Yeah.
Joseph couldn't be there. Gail's great husband. One thing we have in common, we both love Joseph. He's a great, wonderful person.
Yeah, he was sick.
He
Yeah.
was sick. And I always offer him my favorite Rodney Dangerfield joke of the year. So this is the one you have to repeat to him, okay?
Yes.
If
Uh-huh.
your daughter was supposed to do it. And by the way, your daughter wrote me a beautiful Vyas Puja offering.
I had no idea.
Well, there's a lot of things you don't know about your daughter. But
Yeah.
anyway, she wrote me a beautiful offering. Um, but this is my favorite Rodney Dangerfield joke, okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
I had a gambling problem. So I went to Gambling Anonymous. They gave me 2 to 1. I wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Okay.
And he will love it. He will
He
love it.
probably heard it, but tell him I send him that to me.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all the offerings were great. Jai Jagannath's offering was very profound, very heartfelt, vulnerable, but very profound, and a wonderful expression of friendship. So that was good. Gail, any other questions?
Yeah. Just two hopefully quick questions. One is I missed what was that synchronicity between Champak Mala's meaning of Vyasa Puja and the point you were making?
Because when I explained the Guru Tattva, and I was trying to figure out this analogy and how far I could go with it, trying to explain the fact that we don't need initiation and we do. And because it could look, and she quoted this quote from Prabhupada from the CC that you don't, but then explaining a little bit about the importance of guru, initiation, etc. We'll post the VP book and you can look at it. I thought that was synchronicity because it was one point that I wasn't going to discuss because you get into Guru Tattva and it's just endless trying to work out all the different combinations of how things work and times and why things work and don't. Okay. What
Okay, well,
else?
Yeah, I'll have to
You read it.
I'll
Okay.
have to follow up on with
Okay.
you
What
on that
else,
one.
Gail?
The other one was again with Guru Tattva,
Yeah.
and Yogamaya Shakti's dilemma, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that she had equal experience of authority in both you and
Yeah.
Kastuba,
Yeah.
that was resolved. I know that the conduit, both you and
Yeah.
Kastuba are plugs in the same conduit.
Yeah.
But so the only reason why she ended up taking from you, therefore, was because Kastuba doesn't initiate, basically,
Not necessarily.
So then how was the dilemma resolved for her since, the
The
authority was...
Samarizal is the main thing is Siksha, and she still has the same gurus, except one, she formally commits to the Sampradaya through that person and performs that function, says a little extra, but for her, she still has full connection. This is my guru, this is my guru. And it's the same with, not to say, I can't judge who won more, little this, that, but, Kaveri is not my initiated disciple, but I'm her guru. Sri Rupa is not. Jai Subhadra is not, but I'm her guru. And I may give them second initiate one day, so I will be formally also. Sri Gandharvaka is a disciple of uh, Nrsimha Swami, but she feels that connection for me. And Indira is very dedicated to her guru, Bhakti. True, I gave her second initiation. So it's possible, but I say it's hard to find one person where you have that kind of faith. But if you find several, you can, and I'm always encouraging my disciple. Raghunath takes Siksha from Radhanath Swami very powerfully, but you can see his sentiments for me don't change. In fact, they increase because I encourage that relationship because the business is the person, not the guru having a disciple. It's the person's advancement. So,
Yeah.
and Niranjan Swami, even sometimes his disciples find shelter outside of ISKCON. And he doesn't object as long as those people have faith in Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Because he understands it's not about the particular, it's about the person. You already have your guru. So that's that broadness needs to be there a little bit more. And I encourage my disciples to take shelter of sadhus and to Prabhupada, have that relationship directly with Prabhupada in that sense. People complicate it. But you have, of course, our Shastras, you do need to take initiation, but those people at Ritviks, they also get some connection. But there's something I feel ultimately they won't get. But that's another thing. Okay.
But you were able to connect her in a formal way.
Who?
Yogamaya Shakti. You were able to connect her in a formal
Connect her in a formal way, yes. And there's something kind of to that. I gave the example of Niranjan Swami. One is Rajalalana. My God, her Guru Bhakti is like if there's 1 to 10, it's off the charts. You know that, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
But he has another disciple who is serving someone who is actually the main Ritvik. It was the main Ritvik, and he had another disciple, a very intelligent lady that got into like Prabhupada in that way, but still maintained his faith in him. So those are two different examples. That person, he was fine. If she had that kind of, I feel you put the glasses between but I think she got Prabhupada from him anyway. But two different people in two different circumstances. So, yeah, so that's another example. Yeah. But I think it was good because it's a good opportunity for teaching at that time to present a very important point and have an example of it. Because he's giving her so much instruction. But she really loves our community. She never misses any of my classes. So it's good. It's better. It's better. Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Ishri Sundari, Haribo.
Haribo. It was a great program yesterday. It was wonderful.
And thank you for your beautiful offering. And even though people won't understand this, hey, Radharani, even though you're ABC, you still represented a New Yorker.
Yes,
But
good.
it probably would have been a maybe you could have did Malini Radha, and then Braja Sundari Radha could have had more of like that New Yorker. Does
Next
anybody
time.
know what ABC is so you don't confuse what it means? It means American-born Cuban, by the way. Radharani, is she taking care of you nicely?
She's the best host ever. She's
Okay.
amazing.
You're getting her down to Houston?
Yes. Right? You're coming.
Maybe.
Maybe. She
Yeah,
doesn't. No, she has some time. She goes down to her house in Alachua.
Yeah, she should.
That's okay.
Jaya was just here. He left, but he was also talking about what a great program yesterday. Like it was amazing.
We got him to lead kirtan,
Hmm
which is phenomenal, and his offering was so deep as
Very
he
sweet.
is. Okay. Anybody else?
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Yavid
Happy
Sundari.
Vyasa Puja.
Thank you.
The program was great. I was looking at
Well, I hope I'm going to tell them they have to have the same quality for their marriage.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
The same quality, because somehow, and your daughter said something very nice about you. She said,
What is
even
it?
though my mother's in Tehran and now I'm in America and it's very hard for us to connect personally, my mother's happiness is only my happiness.
Oh, that's very kind of
It's
her.
true,
Yes.
though. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, we are connected, Maharaj, somehow.
Yeah, no, you're happy because she's happy. And for a daughter, he's such a nice person. If she's married, he's such a gentleman. And they have
Oh,
such a
thank
great
you.
relationship. Okay. I'm also
I'm
going to
glad.
watch it on that day, so they better have the right
Good
connection.
Zoom, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Haribo.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Yep.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna
Sarah
Maharaj.
Radhika here. And
Okay. Great.
thanks for the class.
Yeah, thank you for the class, Maharaj.
And
Okay.
yesterday was amazing.
I see that Shruti likes that New York Bob too. What?
I got it from Ramateta.
That's true, right? That's true. Right. We'll put it a Metro Bob. That's good. Where are you driving now?
We're just going to a park to do some job and then we'll fly out soon, few hours.
Okay. Thanks for coming all the way here. Right?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Thank you.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Anybody else say hello today?
Good morning. Thank you for class, Maharaj. Tim Tucker.
Okay. You guys are invited now in the future. Okay. You must come.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Haribo. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Lal Govinda.
And Braja, thank you.
Thanks for class.
And you have nice
Yesterday was
service.
amazing.
You have nice service tomorrow.
Yes, definitely.
What?
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, it would be very nice.
you never knew him before.
No, just from this Sangha.
It's a great person to know. You can see how soft-hearted he is,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
but he,
Yeah.
he has this other side. He's an amazing leader and manager.
Yeah, I could
It's
tell.
it's usually have this. Is he there? I don't want to embarrass him. He's not there. To have two people in the same, in the same person,
Mm.
where you're like very emotional and sentimental, but the environment has to be in a particular way, which was great for him to come to that function and see everything was together because he knows what it is.
Mm.
Okay. Anybody else like to say hello while I'm in my crazy
Haribo.
mood today?
Hare Krishna
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Who is that?
Yoga Maya Shakti.
Oh, I wanted to hear you say your name. Okay.
Thank you so much. I wrote in the chat, like, I am so like incredibly fortunate to have a close relationship with not one, but actually three, like Raghunath too, like the three of you to have that close guidance.
You should have I should have mentioned that so I could have put that in the class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you write him a little
I will.
note?
I love
Okay?
I love you all. Thank you so much for knowing me and guiding me, and I wouldn't be where I was without you.
I'm looking at all the quotes for now. Now, in the thing from Henry, he said, historic St. Albans address. I should post this once. Henry's school is in the National Cathedral. And, you know, the highest people went there. And he arranged that I spoke in the service in the morning to the students, the whole school. I gave the address, like it's a real, you know, you sit on these wood things, and then I gave the address, and it was really, by Krishna's grace, it was a knockout of the park, because in the National Cathedral, this is mind-blowing, there's a stained glass window of my uncle.
Wow.
Yeah, so I talked about my uncle, and this he was one of the four chaplains, Rabbi Alexander Good. And they were famous because they were on the USS Dorchester. And there were, you know, different denominations, and the ship got sunk. And the four chaplains, they got everybody else off the ships, but there weren't enough lifeboats.
Oh.
So they died, and people saw it arm in arm singing the Psalms of David. So there's so much stuff about them. There's a book about them, and my grandfather used to go to dedications. My mother used to speak. But I gave another parody. If I was there, I would have got on the boat first and said, no women. Only senior devotees first. And let other people hold arm in arm singing the Brahma Samhita. But I'm getting out of there first. A little different culture. Okay,
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Okay, and Rati has got that very nice article in the chat. Yeah. Okay, you have to write Raghunath and tell him that I forgot to tell Maharaj that you were also my guru, and you
I'll
should have been
definitely.
sitting there. Okay?
I definitely will.
Okay, Haribol.
Thank you, Haribol.
Do that. Okay, anybody else? Yoga
Hare Krishna
Maharaj?
Maharaj.
Haribol. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Indira, where are you?
Oh, I got COVID, Maharaj. I know. I was so bummed. So bummed.
Were you able to see it on the video?
I was. It was so sweet. Everybody is just, I was telling them yesterday, missing their association. And it's just so fun to, be in such anxiety trying to finish everything. And but it always comes out in the
And you know,
end.
you're into theater, so you would have loved the musical.
I know. I wish they had been mic'd. I couldn't really hear what they were saying. So next
Well,
time we'll have to
you
mic them.
heard Jamuna Jaya singing now, right?
Yes, yes. Yes. I mean, Yadanath is just so sweet. He's just so funny. But yeah, no, it was all so lovely. And the mural, oh my goodness. We didn't show the mural enough. That was really nice.
Well, Rati Krishna is in trouble now. Because I asked him to make sure you show the mural. Uh-oh.
Well,
Okay.
Sri Rupa sent me a picture, so that was nice.
Okay, they'll be pictures. Okay,
Have a
anybody
safe
else?
trip, Hare Krishna.
Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Shyam Kishore Das.
I got your beautiful offering. Thank you. Very heartfelt.
Maharaj.
Haribol.
Thank you, Maharaj. Happy Asa Pusha, and have a safe trip tomorrow. I miss you.
Thank you.
Be
Haribol.
well, Maharaj.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll look at all the names that are there. We have a nice group of people there. Okay, I'm going through them slowly. Okay. Okay, thank you, Catalina. Okay,